Listen, quarterback a hell of a hard job. And when you get out there, it's loud. That headset, a blast. Y bunch right, F counter motion, 7-2 crisscross, X swing, Y out. Hey, if we get anything strong, go 98 bunch crunch. Anything weak, now we go 200 jet smoke. All right, listen, hard three, ready? And you breaking that huddle.
Hey, man. Hey, for our audience out there, that's a play.
That's one
so
play.
So for all you people that think football players are dumb, try to remember what he just said. Hey, welcome to Life After Sports 23. This is episode 12. Myself, co-host Big James.
What's going on out there, y'all?
And special guest, homie, Shaun King.
What's up, King? What's going on, brother? What's happening?
Blessings, man.
Yeah,
Thanks for having me, fellas. I'm excited. Congrats on the success, man.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. See, I was just telling, Mitchell and said, shoot, me and Shaun go way back.
Yeah.
Shit, he was quarterbacking when I was playing in Tampa. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so, I mean, it's...
Is that where you guys met?
Doing events and doing things like that. But you know what?
He was with the Devil Rays.
Yeah.
The Devil
They're the Rays now. Devil Rays weren't too good.
I remember
the Rays
the
were
Devil
good.
Yeah. And you were bald then, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we did an event down at the pier. And I remember thinking in my heart of hearts, like, damn, I'm glad I got my hair. Like, as a young black man, going bald, it's like your fears. Man, when I got to like 28, man, that edge started going back. I started blaming barbers.
Blaming everybody but yourself.
I was like, man, I'm headed with Greg again.
Hey, man. And it's crazy. It's about that time, too, because I got traded from Milwaukee to San Diego. And Tony was the only other brother on the team, you know what I mean? And I was like, I'm looking at Tony's haircut, and I was like, do you even ask him where he got his haircut at? or do I say, rest in peace? I mean, that's my guy. You know what I mean? And I was like, Tony, you know where any barber shops is? He said, yeah, man, I know one. I just went in there and shaved it off, man.
I know that's
less maintenance, and it is. But I know once you shave it off, it don't come back.
You're right, and it's a lot of work.
Yeah.
That's the thing about going bald. You don't understand. It's way more work than having a haircut.
Well, I'm good. I got a head full of hair. I try to keep it down.
But you engine.
I'm engine up. I'm from
American blood.
Yeah, man. I'm from the fuck you over tribe. Hey, man, check this out, man. You was a great Super Bowl winning quarterback down in Tampa, man. Hey, let me and me and my audience, let us know how you began as a quarterback way before the NFL. Talk to us about that.
So I'm from St. Petersburg, Florida, and for those that love the game of football, we invented football as it's currently played. So Florida boys, from Little League to middle school, high school, we play football. Little League games, stadiums packed. So you come from that environment if you're from Florida. That's just what you do. At the same time, I'm 46 now. So my high school years were early 90s, and black quarterbacks still wasn't prominent, especially undersized. You had the guys that were, and we'll get into that a little later, your Warren Moons and your Randall Cunninghams, and even their paths were, peculiar for their talent level. But most individuals that I'm a little over 6 foot that played quarterback were often switched and changed. And so I battled with that my entire life. We'll get into it, but I'll never forget this. Bobby Bowden and Steve Spurrier. And you got to think 1995. Now, this is when Florida State Miami was the biggest game in the world.
But wasn't Charlie Ward down
Charlie
there
Ward,
in Florida State at that time?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Charlie Ward had absolutely went there. People forget Charlie Ward was the punter at Florida State, and so things had to happen at a quarterback for him to get in the game.
Okay.
And especially more so for the system to evolve at Florida State. If you go back and look at the first half of the year, the first year Charlie started, they still were old Florida State. They were I formation, fullback, tight end, under center, and then all of a sudden something happened, and Mark Richter or Brad Scott, I think was the OC, they went to the spread, and the rest is history. Yeah, but Bobby Bowden and Steve Spurrier both sat on my couch in St. Petersburg, Florida. I was, me and Dante Culpepper were the first and second ranked quarterbacks in the state of Florida. Dante Culpepper went to the University of Central Florida. I went to Tulane. Right. No offense to UCF and Tulane, those are alma maters, but that's just showing in this path of being a black quarterback how far we've come. Spurrier and Bowden both offered me a full scholarship to those schools to play safety.
Okay.
I hadn't tackled anybody on the interception.
I can understand
I
that.
had made one tackle all year, and I just could not understand it. I couldn't think about it. In defense of Miami, who ended up signing Scott Clement and Scott Covington, they did offer me at quarterback. But Ryan Collins, another black quarterback, when I went down there, I didn't get the vibe that he was given a fair shake, that he really was, given an opportunity to do. So I kind of, I had always been into academics.
Okay.
And Tulane was sitting there, and I actually chose Tulane. I love New Orleans, actually. I fell in love with New Orleans. And Tom Shaw was a big part of why I went there, because he was the guy that had trained Dion. I wanted to be fast. I wasn't like Michael Vick. I wasn't big as McNabb.
Right.
So I wanted to go somewhere where I can get fast and play quarterback, and it kind of worked out. But to answer your question, I always dealt with people looking at me and not seeing a quarterback. Like, when you walk in a room and you see Frank Thomas, you're like, oh, yeah, that mofo hit home runs. Like,
Yeah, you can recognize what you do.
When I walked in the room, I had hair and abs then, so I don't want to see all your jokes in the comments. I'm playing with it. I'm bald with a belly now. I still got a good 60 seconds in me. So you always battle with that. And as we get into the evolution of now in the game of football, I think that's the biggest change.
Okay, yeah, I can kind of feel your pain, because when I was growing up, that's the only position I ever played was quarterback. I went to college as a quarterback, and I watched the landscape of the NFL, and I didn't see where I fit in at. So I had to find a way to live out my dream through another position. I mean, I had never made a tackle all the way up until, my junior year in college. When I got in the NFL, I had only played defense 3 years. You know what I mean? The third year that I played defense, I was in the NFL. And a lot of people don't know that, but that's all I ever played was offense, and I only played quarterback.
Oklahoma State?
Yes, sir. And, Temple University, when I got to Temple, they gave me the opportunity to play defense. You understand what I'm saying? And when I got there, I was asking about how could I get to the NFL. And I had a guy tell me, they was like, man, they really don't want any black quarterbacks in the NFL. And so when I get there and I'm playing quarterback and I'm running the option for Bruce Arians. And Bruce running the option, and I just didn't really understand, why we was running this option and this I-back, and you got this 6'6" quarterback that can sling the ball 100 yards. But it wasn't time yet for us as quarterbacks, black quarterbacks, to be in the NFL. So I already know how hard it was, but it had to be much harder for you because you got the opportunity to play quarterback in college. So talk about leading up to your first start at Tulane and what they was expecting out of you as a black quarterback.
It was interesting. Buddy Tevens, rest his soul. I think Buddy had a tragic accident a year and a half, I think, ago on a bicycle, and he passed away. But they lied to me. I'm gonna be honest. The truth don't have emotions. The truth don't need a support system. It's just the truth. They lied. They came down to St. Pete. We were running a 4-wide spread offense. One of my frat brothers, JT, I wasn't a Kappa at the time, but he was a new. He had came from Florida State as a GA, and he brought that open spread attack that they had at Florida State down to Gibbs High School. And so Buddy Tevens and John Baxter, who was the special teams coach, they were the guys that recruited me along with Tom Shaw. They said we was going to run that system at Tulane. And when I got to Tulane, we were 2 tight ends, 1 running back, damn good running back. Shout out to Gerald Soule. He ended up playing NFL. But, man, I was under center. We were handing the ball off. We in 3rd and 6th the whole game. I was like, man, this is so flim-flammery at the highest level. But, they say God don't make mistakes. And unfortunately, Buddy was let go after my sophomore year. And Tommy Bowden came in. And what a lot of people don't know is he bought the head coach, athletic director from a little small school in West Virginia called Glenville State. His name was Rich Rodriguez.
Yeah, I know
And
who
so
that
Rich
is.
Rodriguez was the OC at Tulane with Tommy, and that's when we took off. They went back to the spread system. We were able to run a version of what you see now in college football. it really allowed me, and this is I coached as well, and this is what I learned. Great coaches don't have systems. They have the ability to adapt to personnel.
There you go.
There you go.
Because the system isn't bulletproof. Like, you can have a great system, but if the pieces that you currently have don't fit, then you got to be able to adapt.
So basically, you guys was kind of running a version of, remember the Houston Cougars when they had Andre
So that
Ware?
was more sling and shoot.
That was more sling and
So
shoot. It wasn't what you guys was doing.
No, I think at the end of the year, because Andre's a good friend of mine, I want to say like their pass run ratio was like 71-39.
Okay.
Whereas at Tulane, we were actually 50-point-something to 49-point-something. We were almost.
So you guys was balanced,
Yes.
but with a spread look.
Yes, we just did it with a
basically,
spread
like
look.
you're saying, it is kind of like what you guys was ahead of you guys' time,
Mm-hmm.
because basically that's what most college teams are trying to do now, keep it balanced right at 50-49 or 49-50, opposite way, either way, you know what I'm saying, but keep it balanced. But the run and shoot was more
Pass.
pass.
Yeah.
It's
Okay.
wide open like fast break offense. Like
Yeah.
Paul Westfield, when he came in the Suns, hey, we're just going to run
Absolutely.
again
That's what
until
it
you get
was.
to the playoffs and they go, now you got to play defense.
Right. That's a great analogy.
And then your analogy in baseball, it's like you remember the old Cardinals. I guess I would say the 96 or 95 Cardinals when they stole all those bases. You would see the Cardinals, they get on base and you got guys just taking off running. I mean, they play so fast, and they wasn't a home run hitting team. That was it.
No,
was that
because they had a few guys, but man, when you got Willie and Vince and all those guys, man, I'm gonna tell you, speed kills, man. No matter what sport it is, speed changes everything.
Yes.
Because you can't defend speed.
That's right.
You can't. If you mess up in speed, I don't care what sport it is, you're done. You know what I mean? And for me, like I said, though, you are part of history of what made and gave these brothers a chance to be, the number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, a top 5 pick. And I just hope, because history, you know what Doug and Cunningham and Warren and all those guys, what they had to go through. You know what I mean?
Well, think about James Harris back in the 70s.
Yeah, Shaq,
Big Shaq.
Yeah, I'm just saying, but these guys had to go through. If you don't win in that position, pretty much they say, see, he can't do it. But, we're going through the same thing with Justin Fields now. He just gets traded. First pick, Minshew has a chance to start over Justin Fields.
Wow. How crazy is that?
This is nothing against that man. But I'm just saying, you have somebody that started that has zero help around him. Mm-hmm. Last year was the first year he had a little bit of help, and he got hurt. He's taking a beating. You don't get the grace period to learn, as some people get the grace period to learn. You don't get to, like learn on the job. You can't do it.
When I look at that, I just hate that they never supported Justin at the level that they're supporting Caleb.
Right.
And there's 2 black quarterbacks, so it's not like there's a cultural thing in this specific thing, but I think Justin, remember when they first drafted Justin in the first round, they had told Andy Dalton he was going to be the starter. Remember Andy Dalton got in the press conference, it's my time. Y'all remember that?
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Right, so you draft Justin first half of the first round, but you sign a journeyman quarterback in Andy Dalton and tell him he's going to be the starter. You don't surround Justin with any kind of competent talent. Yeah. You wait until you get rid of Justin to go out and trade for Keenan Allen and DeAndre Swift. I know they brought in DJ Moore,
right,
but that was the first upgrade.
And look how he played.
Right.
But think about, but when they brought DJ Moore in, man, it's like his eyes lit up. I got someone that I trust.
Absolutely.
Because as a quarterback, you got to be throwing to somebody that you trust.
Right. And the thing about it, those two, you got to understand. Not only that, but the defensive one, nothing either. So but when you're the quarterback. Just like when you were the 3, 4, 5 guy, and you make the salary, or quote unquote you're the face. That's we're used to wearing that. You know what I mean? You wear it, but I'm still sitting here, and you're gonna tell me he can't stand on. I mean, there's some teams out there.
He
right
100% played well enough last year to be a starting quarterback
for the Raiders.
The only bigger piece of BS in the entire offseason was this narrative that Russell Wilson sucked last year.
That's crazy.
Russell Wilson completed 67% of his passes through 28 touchdowns and 6 picks, or either 26 and 8, one of the
26
two.
and 8.
26 and 8. Like, come on. But because Sean Payton, who just came from the media, is this beloved, connected entity, everybody took his side. Okay, they decided to move on from Russell, so something must be wrong with Russell. Russell didn't play bad. You could like or dislike Russell with Sierra and, whatever, with the parking spots in the office. But at the end of the day, as an athlete, we live in a world where you can actually keep score. Like, if we get in an argument at the bar, what first thing we do? We go on the phone. Yeah. Hold on, Greg. You struck out 4 times in that playoff game. Yeah, hold on, King. You threw 3 interceptions.
Yeah.
You know, and a lot of the people that cover the game of sports don't come from that world.
Right.
You know, they hide their losses and they magnify their wins. Mm-hmm. And we not wired like that. So I like to stand up for guys. There's no way Justin Fields shouldn't be a starting quarterback in the NFL.
That was my point.
100%.
Like I said, you take Minshew, and I don't know the Raiders' plan, and I don't have anything against Minshew, but some guys are backups and some guys are starters. If I don't care, some guys are pitch hitters. If you play a guy that pitch hits every single day, first of all, he don't want to do that every day because he's going to get exposed. Mm-hmm. And the same thing with the backup. Because I was rooting for Dobbs all day long, but sometimes a backup is a backup.
It's a backup,
you know what I mean?
But look at him. He looks good sometimes, and then he looks like what he is a backup.
Like I said.
And in Dobbs' defense, he's never really gotten a legit shot.
Yes.
I mean, he was drafted to Pittsburgh, but he was behind Ben.
Right.
So you can remember this. They traded him to, I think it was Tennessee, mid-season, and he started against the Cowboys. Cowboys were in a must-win game. He played pretty darn good. Then last year, they traded him to Arizona because Kyler was hurt.
He killed.
Then mid-season, they traded him to Minnesota. And so he's never really gotten to be somewhere and had the organization get behind him and believe in him at the level it takes to succeed. Man, listen, quarterback is a hell of a hard job. And when you get out there, it's loud. That headset, a blast. Why bunch right? I've counted over 7-2 crisscross, X swing, why out. Hey, if we get anything strong, go 98 bunch crunch. Anything weak, now we go 200 jet smoke. All right, listen, hard 3, ready? And you breaking that huddle.
Hey, man. Hey, for our audience out there, that's a play.
That's one
so
play.
For all you people that think football players are dumb, try to remember what he just said.
And when it takes time, it takes patience to get out there and first of all be able to know what the hell you just said. What does it mean?
And what they lined up in.
Right. What are they trying to do to prevent me from doing that? Mm-hmm. How do I get in the best play possible? That's why guys in this league that have really been successful had one thing nobody talks about: stability. Peyton Manning was great. Peyton Manning was where? In Indianapolis with Tom Moore. The same coordinator, same Howard Mudd, the same old line coach. Tom Brady. Mm-hmm. He was in New England all those years. Look at Aaron Rodgers. He's in Green Bay. It takes stability. You have to learn that stuff and make it become a part of you.
How many OCs did Justin Fields have?
Justin Fields has had, this would have been his third one.
This would have been his third one.
And going to his 4th year.
Yeah, he's had a different one every
because he had Nagy.
Year.
Hell, when I was in Tampa, people don't know this. My first 4 years, I had 4 OCs. I had Mike Shula, year 1.
Yeah.
I had Les Steckel, year 2. Mm-hmm. I had Clyde Christensen, year 3.
Sure did.
And then I had John Gruden came in year 4. We changed systems, so I know what it's like to spend your whole off season trying to learn a new language.
But you had some veterans too, because during that time you had some guys that had some stability on.
They were all on defense.
But they was all on defense.
But still, they were able to keep a locker room together. But you had to come in and lead. Mm-hmm. Justin, like I said, man, Justin never got that chance. He never got a chance to be.
I'm a big Fields fan too.
I'm a big Fields fan.
I'm a Justin Fields fan, so we might be biased. You know what I mean?
And it's not because he looks like me.
No, it's not.
To me, right is right, wrong is wrong.
I'm just looking at a good quarterback.
But you look at half these leagues with these quarterbacks that they have. That's the best they can do.
I'm a Raider fan to my heart. I play for the Raiders. I love the Raiders.
And you live in Vegas.
And I live in Las Vegas. And I really would have loved if we'd have gave Justin Fields the opportunity. I'm not saying that we made a bad choice with Gordon Minshew, but I don't think, and this is my opinion means something to me, that Gordon Minshew is a starting quarterback. I think he's a guy that you can take and plug in for a little while until things get better. I look at Justin Fields as a starter that just need time. And I think Gordon Minshew started out with time, the time that Justin Fields isn't getting. And I have another question for both of y'all. Just the swing this. I'm gonna ask you guys a question, both of you guys. Do you think the black quarterback has gotten better, or do you think that they're just getting a chance now to play in the NFL?
Well, let me speak on Fields to Vegas.
Okay.
First thing I look at is, what does Luke Getsy think of Justin Fields? What's their relationship like? Because Luke Getsy was his offensive coordinator last year for the Bears.
Right.
And he just got hired by the Raiders.
So that could be.
And now, how did he get a job?
Right. They fell forward.
Well, think about this though, Shaun. Luke Getsy was there when Justin said, "Just let me be a quarterback."
Right.
And
that was Nagy.
Was Nagy?
Yeah,
That was Nagy when he said, "Just let me be a quarterback." My fault. I make mistakes.
Because Luke was on there with 1 year. Well, no, he was there 2 years. It was 2 years, yeah.
But, I mean, a guy like go ahead, what you were saying about...
because it doesn't make business sense, the decision the Raiders made. Pittsburgh got Justin for a sixth-round pick in 2025 and didn't have to add any money to the pool. Justin's going into the fourth year of a rookie deal. Mm-hmm. Whereas Vegas gave Minshew 2 years, 20-something million. And you see, and I just think the upside on Justin is so much better. It had to be a situation where the offensive coordinator wanted something different. Maybe there's something he wants to do that he doesn't think Justin's capable of. Because if I'm AP, like, they got to win.
Well, basically,
I don't want to put that in Minshew's hands.
Minshew just remind me of all the quarterbacks we've had over the last few quarterbacks. He fits in that category as... I'd have rather kept O'Donnell.
Right.
Or what's his name? O'Connell. I'm sorry. O'Connell.
He's still there. They say they're going to have a competition. We'll see.
I mean, competition, my butt. I just think
they better move
O'Connell,
up in the draft. And I don't mean to cut you up. They better move up in the draft and go get somebody. Because if you let Justin Fields walk.
Could have got Russ.
Could have got Russ.
Yeah.
But we're talking like you said.
Could have paid and got Cousins.
King, but you said a sixth-round pick that might turn into a fourth-round pick.
Right.
For the first pick of the draft.
Right.
Wow.
For first round, right. It's worth it.
And he's a 24-year-old, about to turn 25-year-old quarterback that played on some shitty teams, excuse me. You know what it is, though? It doesn't surprise me because I think we were talking about this last show when we had Owen Apollo Nissan, and OP said, man, you hit 50 home runs. And I said, yeah, I got traded. How's that happen? But
it's still there.
It's
you know what I'm saying? It's still there.
Yeah, but it's still there. But what I'm saying to you is we always have to navigate through some whatever it is.
Because it's still there.
And other people say, well, at least you're in the big leagues or at least you're there. No, but I'm just saying sometimes people just need to be quiet because they don't understand what they're really talking about. Mm-hmm. When certain people accomplish less than that, they get rewarded far more than us that accomplish what we accomplish, but we know life's not fair. We're not screaming, that the big leagues isn't fair and I had a bad time. I'm not saying any of that. No. But someone can't tell me what I know about that's never played. We're talking about the Hall of Fame. We're talking about our boys, my little brother, Shep. The Hall of Fame has check boxes. He checked them all.
Yeah, he should be in the Hall. He should have been first ballot.
He checked them all. Now we're going Lee Smith, and I hate to keep going back. It's almost baseball season. Lee Smith, man, them shadows and his hand. I mean, the ball looked like a grape, dog, and you couldn't see it. And he's gonna throw it, and no closers go in if you don't have X amount of saves. Mm-hmm. He had 400 forever. He had 400 forever. Now we're putting guys that are closers that aren't close to 400.
Nope.
And they're only like 2 and 3% away from the vote. So it tells you America, not only America, but corporate America does what corporate America wants. They put people and they let people in and they change the rules, they change the guidelines accordingly to whoever they want it to benefit. And one of my favorite all-time players, and like I said, I think we're going to start something on this podcast, and maybe you can help us push it too, King, because Dave Parker was one of the baddest men on the planet for all these years. All these years. And
he's not in the Hall of Fame.
Not on the Hall of Fame. Went past. Now you have to go to the committee. And the sad thing about it is they got guys, and I think they let a couple guys in that you ask any Hall of Fame pitcher, ask any pitcher, who would they rather fear or face, and whose numbers are better than, and they would say Dave Parker.
Big Dave.
But now the committee, you know what? Now the numbers change.
Right.
Before you had to have the numbers.
Finish lines change. The
Oh,
goalposts move.
They shorten the field, or they widen the field, or it just depends. So, I think the Justin Field, it hits me hard because it's not getting no better. And people say, well, you can go back, you can do. We're not talking about going back. We're not saying anything. We're just speaking facts. It's not getting better.
Corporate America still like picking our heroes. You understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. They still like picking our heroes. That's corporate America. They still want to control everything. Dave Parker, we can go all the way. It's politics. I mean, everything. And it's still there. I don't want to call it racism because that ain't the card I want to play. But I just want to say it's still there, whatever it is. It's there. But they don't want to make it as blatant as it used to be. Mm-hmm. Due to the fact that America has kind of mixed in more than it was in the past. So you can't be as blatant. But it's still there. So they pick the ones that they want to be out front, and then they slide the ones back that they don't want. But those are guys like Sheffield, guys like Greg Vaughn, guys like Dave Parker, because they say they didn't play fair with the media, which is corporate America, ran by Fox, CBS, ABC, all those big guys. And when you don't play fair with them, they don't care about your numbers because they already know I can bury you and lose you due to the fact that I control the dummy box. And the dummy box is TV. And the greatest thing that's come out now is podcasts because they cannot control what we say on here. But you can control those guys on ESPN, Fox Sports. You can control them and give them a small segment of this is what you got to say, this has got to be done, and they'll chop it up. But once this podcast stuff came out, we can come and tell the truth. We're not trying to hurt anyone. It's just the truth coming out now, and a lot of people are getting the opportunity to see it and hear it. There's no reason that this is my friend, and I know people want to say you buy it. He hit 50 home runs.
I got traded.
And then get traded? Now make that make sense to me.
It don't and it won't, and they can say whatever they want to say. It is what it is, but just don't act like it doesn't exist. That's the problem. They want to erase history. They're doing it in our schools. When I came up, Black History Month, it wasn't just a Black History Month. We learned about Black history, Native American history. We learned about, Pearl Harbor. We learned about history. So what is history now? Whatever the narrative it is for them. The history is history.
Right.
You can't change history.
That's right.
So
it's propaganda.
When people say you're taking down, statues, but we never got to build statues of our history, or we quit teaching history about our statues and what our people did.
That's right.
But now you want to keep your statues up that you want to pick and choose. It's all bullshit.
I guess the way I look at it is I want the people that cover sports to evolve and adapt and get better. Mm-hmm. Like some of these narratives that come out on someone, like Justin Fields isn't a bad quarterback. And anybody that's not looking through colored lenses can see he didn't get the right situation to succeed as a young quarterback. C.J. Stroud, everybody's tooting his horn now. What I remember is last year before the draft, they were tearing C.J. Stroud down because they said that because people in the league can't really evaluate
how smart
football players, they come up with these tests. It used to be the Wonderlic. Now it's the S2 or something that they came with. And all they talked about was, well, he didn't score good on the S2. And I remember I'm on the platform over at VSiN, and me and Lombardi are doing a show together, and he's talking about this S2 test. I'm like, do you look at the film? This might be the most accurate throw of the football I've ever seen in college. Like, I mean, he can throw it everywhere. I was like, this kid gonna be box office. But they were trying to tear him down because of some test that they had come up with behind the scenes that alleviate the pressure of being right and wrong. Because if we all go in a room and acknowledge that we can't really evaluate this position, but we come up with something analytics-based that we're going to use to make the decision, now guess what happens when it's the wrong decision? we just fall back on the analytics. The analytics was wrong. It wasn't any of us. Same thing with Bryce Young. Bryce Young is a baller. You send him to an organization that's in disarray. They hire a coach. They fire a coach. Like, they got no help. Come on, man. Like, just be honest. And I just want the narrative in the media, because there's a lot of people that got regular jobs that don't follow this thing all day, every day. And they turn on the TV.
Box,
yeah, and you were saying Bryce Young's terrible. Like, that's not... That's not it.
But think about
that's
it.
That's what I wanted to change.
If you hear that enough, that he's terrible,
you believe it.
You hear it enough. You'll start believing that he's terrible.
Right.
But that's if you're ignorant and you don't know sports, though. If you don't know the sport you're talking about, you have to defend the masses, and the masses are always, they who pay everyone's paycheck. So the masses, so they just go along with it, like you said. And I didn't mean to cut you off, big fella.
No, brother.
But Bryce Young has zero help.
Zero
Help. He was running for his life. But you know what's crazy? We're talking about Bryce Young. We're talking about Justin Fields. CJ Stroud. Minshew gets a contract. But who was picked to maybe go to the Super Bowl last year and play well and all this other stuff? Ain't nobody saying nothing about Trevor Lawrence. They still put him on TV.
Keep him on.
and I love Trevor Lawrence.
Good quarterback.
But there's some other quarterbacks that aren't up there, but you don't hear about them. You know what I mean? And like I said, this isn't a race-based show, but it's a facts. We're talking about facts. But we're talking about people that have played.
Right.
But we see you, not people that. Well, I've been a journalist for 30 years, so I know. No, you don't know more than I know.
You can't. It's impossible.
You haven't seen it like I've seen it.
You haven't been in that huddle.
Yeah, you never got hit. You haven't seen it. That ball, no one's throwing 100 underneath your chin. Now you can give me your opinion, but you don't know it more than I know it.
Right.
And I don't say I know everything, because I'm still learning. I'm still learning from Shaun. I'm learning from you. I'm learning from you. I'm learning from all. Hey man, when we stop learning, it's time to dig that grave and jump in it, because right now we got all evolved. We're evolving every single day to be better, whatever it is. Husband, father, person, brother, sister, whatever it is. We're trying to be better. But these people that call out quote unquote experts of what?
You know what?
Your opinion is your opinion.
It's not. It's changing though. The landscape is changing so rapidly fast. You guys don't even understand. Like, I work behind the scenes. Me and Chris work behind the scenes and stuff. So like when you look at cable, right? You're talking about the tops. It's a dinosaur, right? But when you look at the top, under 30 people, they don't watch cable for one. And then you have your top channels. They're getting 2.5 million views a night in primetime slots. That's Fox. MSNBC is like 1.3. ESPN's in third with 1.1. You're talking only 1 million people are watching ESPN in this primetime slot.
And I wonder what that number looks like when it's not live events.
Right. That's
when
exactly what I'm saying.
Actually a game. So like a lot of people don't know this. I went into broadcasting when I stopped playing. I worked at ESPN for 4 years. Then I went to NBC Yahoo for 3. And then I left to go coach at University of South Florida. And then I came back into broadcasting. So I've seen it evolve. And it's why like your TikToks and your different little apps where people can consume information in little bits and pieces.
Yeah.
And nobody sits down and watches a 30-minute Sports Center. You know, they're just looking, what are the headlines and what looks entertaining and interesting. And this is the one thing I would challenge, us as we get into these spaces, is make sure that we're putting out truth.
Yes.
Because the hard part when you don't have that base behind you from a money standpoint, that engine that's going to make sure that, okay, we're good, is now you got to try and create a space while you're creating content. And the only thing I don't like about how kind of the media is evolving is now people will do anything to create content.
Right.
They'll lie. They'll post a topic line that has no bearing on what you're watching. Right. Like, so I just want to challenge everybody in this space. Like, stand on your truth and organically grow it. Yeah. Like Shannon Sharp, for instance. Let's just take Shannon for instance. If you asked him out of all the guests he brought on Shay Shay's room, if Cat Williams would have been the one that catapulted him into like the gatosphere, like a new word. Like he didn't know that. That just happened at a time everything else was dead. Cat was talking his talk, and it caught fire, right?
It caught fire, right? And it shot Shannon through the roof.
Yes, but if you look at Shannon's content before then, it was all kind of just truth. You could tell like he had some passions that people didn't know about. He's heavy in the entertainment and movies. You can tell from the line of questioning.
And he's very intelligent.
Right.
Shannon,
Yeah.
he's intelligent, and Shannon states facts. Shannon states what he just doesn't talk the talk.
Yeah.
He has the background of what he's saying to know that it's true.
And let me finish this now. I don't always agree with Shannon. I think he's overly sensitive. I think there's some times where if he gonna be the unk, he do some un-unk-like things.
Yeah.
But
because he's all right.
That's the human part of it.
That's the human part of it.
But I think the Cat Williams was like 100 and something, episode 100 and something. So it just was the consistency of working out his vision and doing it, and then it pops.
That's how it happened.
Yeah.
And that's our dream. Our dream is, like I said, people, Life After Sports 23 isn't for everybody to come on that has played a sport. Whether you have, I believe the word sport is like life.
Life.
But it's life. But Life After Sports has brought me and James together to form a platform to allow everyone. And considering, you played a sport, but even if you didn't play a sport, you have a story to tell.
Right.
And we want to have a platform so people can tell their story, because everyone's story is important. We have to get off. It's just the entertainers or the athletes. There's a lot of people out there grinding every day, man, trying to make it. And they have to have a place to feel safe to tell their story, because they're going to uplift someone else. They are going to have someone else say, hey, you know what? I'm normal. I'm not the only one that feels this way.
That's right.
And we wanted to have that safe place for them. You know what I mean? So Life After Sports doesn't mean you have to have played a sport to come on this show. You know what I mean?
Because we're human. I think the one thing that my dad taught me was, listen, the only difference between an athlete and a person that just goes to what we consider a normal job is people actually love the work that the athlete does. So, like, we get a platform, but we go through the same things to reach the pinnacle in our space as anybody else would go that's coming out of college that wants to be a doctor or a lawyer or wants to go into IT or be like some kind of crypto whiz. Like, the process is the same. And I think when we tell our stories, it actually gives strength and power to people out there that you say that are in the grind and nobody cares and nobody's watching. Showing them that grind is the same over here.
And it's weird how they hold us so much more accountable
When we make mistakes.
When we make mistakes, because they don't hold the CEO of UPS when I don't get my packages on time, or you know what I mean, or FedEx, or I don't where my package at.
We can't go to FedEx.
So we can't go to midnight.
Hey, Stephen A.
Yeah, Stephen A. Can you get the CEO?
Man, James Harris sucks.
Yeah.
My package supposed to be here between 12 and 4. He got here at 7.
Hey, we can't do that. But they grab us and they put us in a loop on ESPN. I always tell people, if you hear dun-dun-dun in your name, it's a problem.
Unless you're making the play.
Unless you're making the play. Because if you ain't making the play, you's a problem.
It is, but all of it correlates back to life. You know what I mean? Life is a grind, man. And I keep repeating myself. When we were growing up, that word constructive criticism, that was designed to help us get better. Now, that word is called, he's bitching at me.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Constructive criticism, he's bitching at me.
He don't like me.
For those that don't know, every athlete over the age of probably 40, we got coached.
Really coached.
Yeah, this wasn't like a 50-50 conversation. It wasn't a whole lot of whys that were answered. It was a this way or get out.
You know, it's funny because when I went to watch my sons, I went to a football practice, and I was like, damn, they just get to walk off the sideline and get water anytime they want. Shit. We had to run all the plays right, special plays, and then we got water for like
a reward.
We was like doing those, and it was back on out there. They get to walk over there with their hat off, man, like they're shooting a commercial. Hats off, hairs in the wind, and they get to do what they do. And I'm like, that shit was earned for us, dog.
Man, water was a privilege, man. Man, I see guys sitting on the helmets. I'm like, why is he sitting on his helmet?
Hey, I coached in 2019, was my last year at South Florida. Then I was the OC at the IMG in 20. It's a different athlete.
Yes,
out there.
it is.
It's a lot.
But
it's a lot more entitlement. It's a lot more.
Shaun, don't you think we created that though?
We did.
We allowed that to evolve, right?
I don't know if the athletes did. I think
That's corporate
I
America.
think,
I think corporate America
the
did.
money,
Corporate
the
America.
money around athletics has become so big
Yeah.
and largesse, and now that the NIL and stuff has trickulated to college and now high school, everybody's touching the pie before they really accomplished anything, and that's the disconnect to me. I think, listen, if you first of all, I don't think the NIL should include high school kids. Period. I think if you're talking about name, image, likeness for a college, you should have been at that college and have done something. Now, once you get to that college and you produce, I think you should get compensated for your name, image, likeness. That's just, to me, if you're still trying to keep accountability, discipline, like there got to be some parameters in place. Why are we going to give a kid that's never played at this level money to come play at this
$2
level?
million.
Right. Like, I mean, get here and do something.
Hey,
But you know where it started at when they started giving out them trophies just because you're on the team.
Participation.
Oh my God! When I was young, you wouldn't get no trophy unless you earned one.
And it was okay for everybody else to say, you didn't win a game.
didn't win a game. You suck.
You know what? That made you do play better.
That's right. I always tell a joke, a story about my mom. Man, my mom. First time I played little league football, man. And my mom spent her hard-earned money and got me on the team, man. And she came out to the game, and I was standing on the sideline. And I'm a good athlete now, but I guess I wasn't applying myself. And my mom came to the game. She watched me she stayed the whole 4 quarters. And when we got in the car, my mom told me, she said, I can watch you from the back at home.
I know that's right.
But what she was telling me was, you're not applying yourself because I'm watching these kids out here.
And I know what you
And I know what you can do.
Absolutely.
And I ain't spending my hard-earned money to watch you stand up on the sideline.
That's right, because I can watch you at home cutting the grass or painting the basement or anything. But instead, she taught me a great lesson, man, about things of working hard, because we go to McDonald's, it's me, my cousins, we all in the car. And she buy everybody McDonald's but me. And I'm sitting wondering, like, why didn't I get my McDonald's? She said, you can fix a bologna sandwich when you get home. So when I get home, and she wouldn't let none of my cousins or my brother give me any of the McDonald's, right? So I'm sitting in the kitchen, and she comes in. I say, Mama, I wanted some McDonald's. I said, why you didn't buy me no McDonald's? She said, I bought you a football uniform. And I didn't understand it. She said, when I bought that uniform, you supposed to went out there and done something for this. And you haven't did anything for this.
Everybody else had to watch you stand on the sideline.
That's right. Everybody watching you stand on the sideline. So what that did was it made me apply myself. I didn't go into that well, I'm entitled for this. Right. No, what it did was made me buckle down, get myself together, and go back.
Right.
So the next time that my mom come to a game, when she came to the game, I went from standing on the sideline to scoring 3 touchdowns, 4 touchdowns, playing quarterback. Now people telling her, hey, your son doing this. Now she come.
Right.
And now she's seeing. And so she pulled me to the side. She said, that's how you apply yourself. Now, when she did that to me, not giving me the McDonald's and saying what she said, what she was doing was not entitling me. She was telling me, go and work for what you need and what you want. And that's the reason that I've gotten so far. Even all the mistakes we make in our lives, all of us at this age, we've made a lot of mistakes. But our parents and the coaches that we had back then, they was pushing it. It goes back to what you said. We didn't have any say-so. When he said, this is what you're going to do, you had to go and do it. We didn't have no entitlement. Mm-hmm. He was the coach, you was the player, he was the adult, you was the kid. And today, it's reversed. It's I'm the player, you just the coach. I make more money than you, so shut up. And that's not the way it should be.
You know, it goes back to Police Athletic League. It goes back to
PAL.
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 Police Athletic League.
That's right.
So when we're defunding things and we're cutting programs, why are all the ones that help kids are the first things that they cut? You know, I never understood that. You know, they take the things away from kids. Police Athletic League is, you have policemen, you have dads, you have uncles, you have unks, you have whoever. They all are coaching, but there was a safe haven and a place for us to go. Whether it's boxing, it didn't matter what it was. Whether it's, hey man, becoming a policeman. But what they do is they cut everything that helps the inner city kid.
That's true.
The inner city kid they keep a few of the boys and girls things open, like the one in St. Pete I used to leave tickets to. They keep a few of those open, but the YMCA, they might have a few of them, but I'm talking to that one-on-one where, you had that adult tell you, sit down and tell you, hey man, I see guys like you every single day. He was better than you. He was this and that. Now he's doing his life in prison. And I can get him to talk to you. So you have it to make a change. They cut those programs for some reason. You know what I mean? And who does it hurt? Because we don't live in the suburbs.
No.
It hurts the inner city kid. I think it's unfair to make kids pick a sport at 9 years old, what you're going to play. Mm-hmm. I think you need to play everything as long as you can play it, and you will know which one is your best sport at the end. But these coaches now, I can speak for myself, in high school say, in that meeting when all the parents are there, hey, yeah, we want you to play all the sport, but you better not miss this, this, and this, or you can't come out for our team.
That's crazy.
So you know what? You need your body to rest. You need your body to develop different muscles, and you need to be coached different ways. You know what I mean? You can't play football and do football. They are doing it now, but they wonder why so many people get hurt. Kids, they wonder why so many are having Tommy John. Shit, they ain't putting the ball down. I didn't have to go to Harvard, Brown, Yale for any of that. When you don't put something down and you overuse it, what's going to happen, Shaun?
Yeah, Greg, it's called specialization, and you see it across this country. And I think it's interesting because it's gotten so expensive to play multiple sports because they figured out how to monetize youth athletics. Yeah. Like everything is big money now. I mean, we grew up. It was $40 to play football.
Yeah.
It was $40.
$20.
Right.
For what?
It was $40 to play football, and that was the whole season.
And that was hard to get that 40 though.
Right. It was hard to get that 40, but
it's hard to get that 40.
I mean, now
I'll give you 20 now, and in 2 weeks I'll get another 20.
Right.
So you can go out there.
Well, God forbid you got multiple children right now. Like, and your daughter likes volleyball. They want $2,000 for the club volleyball team.
That's just for two.
They're
That's what
paying for all the travel, and then you got another kid that's in soccer. So yeah, it's really. And they monetize the development of athletes. That's why I think if parents would just stop living vicariously through their kids and just allow them to touch all the different sports, their talent, like you said, is going to lead them to the one that they have the greatest chance of success.
Well, think about it. When we was coming up, we went from football to basketball. From basketball, if you played
track, baseball, depending on where you lived at. Yeah.
Wherever you live, it depends on what it was.
Right.
So we was never just forced to be football players, or forced to be basketball players, or forced to be baseball players. We went from sport to sport, and it kept just going around
But what
and
does that
around.
make, James? What is going from sport to sport to sport to sport? What does that develop?
It develops
An athlete.
and
all
it
around
also
athlete.
it develops you meeting different people, dealing with different personalities in different situations, because the situation in baseball isn't going to be the same situation in football. The situation in football isn't going to be the same situation in basketball. You know what I mean? So you learn different situations to raise your consciousness of dealing with different people in different situations at different times. And going to different sports, like you said, Greg, it made you become a great athlete.
But you see what baseball did. And I hate to keep throwing analytics out because I'm sure there's some part of analytics where they both can coexist. Mm-hmm. But for me, we're putting spin rate, we're putting exit velo, and now we got, it's called the swerve. The old Negro League and Little League, we was calling the swerve a long time ago. Right. Now they got the swerve as a pitch in the big leagues.
Wow.
It's called the swerve. You know what I mean? So they're developing all these things for us to look at because it takes, the concept is confusion or disillusion to make us think about different things instead of concentrating. It's like politics. Instead of concentrating on the task at hand. Mm-hmm. It diverts our attention to something else. So, everyone can hit 190 and have, 20 home runs and 37 RBIs, and no one's talking about that because his exit velo was this. Yeah. His spin rate was that.
Yeah, his wins above replacement.
Yeah.
You're talking about analytical terms, baseball.
That's weird that you say that because when I was in the NFL, we stress sack, 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 sack. Now they stretching pressure. They stressing pressures and bat downs.
Yeah.
Do you know in 1 year I had more deflections than most defensive backs, but that wasn't wasn't a stat
I
back
say this
then.
all the time. If a D lineman bats a ball down, I mean they got their butt kicked in pass
That's
rush.
all it means. That means his ass standing still. I
He
say,
had nothing left to do
goddamn.
but jump up.
Yeah, that's it. I said, man. I look at it, I said, God dang, man, I ain't getting there. But I got a lot of bat downs. And John told me, he said, hey, man, you got a lot of bat downs. You better start getting with Chris and them, man, or you going to come stand next to me. But now, these guys can get bat downs, and they get patted on their backs.
But you know what?
And I was about to get benched for it.
But you know, because part of it is you have sports people, few of them coaches, sports people, but you have analytical people running the sports. You know, they're running the system or the team or the organizations. And they're making the fun because they're coming up with all these stats and data. There's been data since 1900, you know, but now data counts. You know, and for me though, Shaun, you know, on this sport though, I mean, coming from, like you said, St. Pete, me playing there, living there, knowing you there, I mean, what was it like to be to be a little head coming up in, you know, St. Pete at those times, and you know, just tell us a little bit of your childhood and.
So I'm a PK. I'm a preacher's kid.
All right.
And growing up in St. Pete, Tampa, the Bucks were awful. I mean, this was the old sombrero. People had bags on their head. Like, this is Bucko Bruce, the pirate with the knife in his mouth. This is the orange and white Bucks. Oh, yeah. Not very good. And it's interesting. You had to, at least in the Black Baptist church. I don't know how many of you guys grew up in a Black Baptist church.
I did.
But
The Holy Spirit might knock you out.
we had 8 o'clock
might knock you
service.
out.
We had 9:30 Sunday school. We had 11 a.m. service. Then we came back for 6 p.m. service. So you were there all day long. But the Bucks were only on TV on the road because the NFL used to have this blackout rule.
Yeah.
If you had a home game and you hadn't sold out by a certain time on Thursday,
That's right.
the game wasn't shown locally. So I said that and said this. I used to sneak out of church on days the Bucks played on the road so I can go and watch the Bucks. 'Cause I've been a Buck fan my whole life. So to fast forward and be at the house in Tampa, shout out to the Fishbowl on Perch Street over there in Tampa, Nucio Park, all that. To be sitting there and have Tony Dungy call and you drafted by the Bucks, I mean, that just was an unbelievable experience. And then to ultimately end up playing as a rookie, and the whole stadium used to have a Burger King crown on. Mm-hmm. And this is before like we had access to like all the information. I didn't realize it was money to be made in that. I didn't get that. But that was such an awesome feeling. And the only thing I regret from that whole situation was the Glazers didn't give Tony another season.
Okay,
I truly believe we'd have won it with Tony if they'd have gave him another year.
I played for Tony. Tony was my defensive coordinator in Minnesota. Tell me about your experience with Tony Dungy.
You know, it's interesting because when you think of guys that have Tony's reputation, you think of the Deion Sanders. I don't know how much you guys watch Well Off Media and his son and how they give access to everything. And Deion's always got a word of the day and he's preaching all the time. You know, he's always got it. Tony's the complete opposite. Like, Tony very rarely is going to say a whole lot. And when he says it, it's going to be very simple. He gets up, he has a team meeting every year, and he'd be like, hey, guys, look, most of the incidents involving athletes that don't turn out right happen between midnight and something in the morning. They involve alcohol or interactions with women. And then he goes to the next thing. Like, he's not going to, he don't elaborate on it. He just kind of sit there. He'll tell you guys, he'll say, hey, I played for the Steelers. Jack Lambert used to smoke cigarettes and stretch. So whatever you guys got to do to be ready, once the whistle blow, we're going to grade you on what we see. Mm-hmm. Like, he's one of those straightforward, like, you know where you are guys. I don't care what y'all wear to the game. Wearing a suit never helped us win a game. Showing up in jeans never helped us lose one. When the game starts, we're going to grade you on what we see. Like, that's him. And, like, there's a comfort in that because you know it is what it is. You know, and you got to worry about getting berated, but you also don't have to worry about getting coddled and cuddled either. You know, so it's kind of like
because you're getting graded.
Right.
He's holding you accountable.
He's holding you accountable.
He's telling you what's going to happen. So you guys know this. I done told you if you go out between 12 and whatever, and you drinking and the girl, I already told you what's going to happen.
Absolutely.
So you can't come back and say, well, I didn't know that was going to happen. It wasn't my fault. I told you it was going to happen. Mm-hmm. So it's about being accountability. And that's something else that I think nowadays that is, and I'll go to Cam Newton because as much as Cam gives, we don't have to agree with Cam. We don't have to, as much as he gives to his community, as much as he does, as much as he tries to help African-American people, how come African-American people, young males, can't be happy for what Cam Newton has accomplished and go up to him and say, hey, how did you get there? What was your path and how do you get there? We're always trying to, we got to quit tearing each other down.
The media has labeled Cam Newton a bad person. Mm-hmm. And if you listen to it enough, you think Cam Newton's a bad person because the way he dressed, plus they talk about the way he dressed, the way he talk. If you hear it enough, if you black, white, green, purple, whatever you are in this world, you'll start believing it. So that goes back to corporate America putting a finger on the person that they want to slide to the side. And he's one that they want to slide to the side. This man is a MVP of the NFL.
Heisman Trophy
winner. Okay?
National champion.
Mm-hmm. But you want to take him because he looks different. He acts different. He doesn't follow your rules and slide him to the side.
But
and make him some type of what I want to call it. Get somebody to give it to me. Something that don't exist.
Right.
But Cam Newton exists in this world.
Very intelligent too.
He's a very intelligent man.
But what happens? But see, once again, we're going to keep going back hundreds and hundreds of years. When someone's intelligent and he can have a following, he becomes dangerous because now other people are going to start to think. He has the will to help other people think differently and outside the box, and reach different goals and go different places and get to different heights. So, but they always try to tear anybody that has success down. You know, whether it's Damon Dash, whether it's Jay, whoever it is, you know, because if we get our young kids to follow them and to get educated by them,
that's a problem.
Then watch out.
Watch out.
You know, I don't know what instigated it. I didn't really delve into it, but the video, he's defending himself. And my message would be to the culture of 707. Chaos doesn't need equal competition, and competition don't have to be chaotic.
That's right.
Like, if you got a group of young athletes that you're trying to teach the game of football and you're doing it in the 707 platform, listen, you're not winning a Super Bowl ring because you win a 707 tournament. Like, the energy at those tournaments be so right. Like, the coaches act like, okay, there's no pass rush, dog. The quarterback is a yard from the line of scrimmage. Like, there's so much unrealistic
play
parts of 707. Like, coaches, chill out.
Right.
Like, if y'all beat Cam Newton 10, all right, shake hands, boom, y'all got them.
Because it's about the kids,
it's about the kids. Like, that energy at the 707 with the adults just be ridiculous. Like, y'all need to cut that out, man.
It's like playing basketball.
Stop it. And this was a situation where these guys used to be under Cam's umbrella. Mm-hmm. They used to coach with Cam. And then they branched off and did their own thing. And so now they're looking at it as like us against Cam when it's really another opportunity for more kids. Because if Cam got a 707 team, only so many kids can get in the game. You go branch off, you give an opportunity for more kids. Y'all compete. Somebody wins, somebody loses. Y'all shake hands. Let's leave, go home.
But
it's not we beat you, Cam, or y'all got to feel like, come on, man, they got to cut that out.
But that goes back to corporate America, putting this label on Cam, and now the parents is handing it down to their children because they're watching ESPN saying, this clown, man, and they beating it into their kids, and now their kids feel like, well, my dad said it or my mom said it, so I can say it to Cam. No, you cannot. This man is a professional athlete that's achieved something that you have not achieved yet. So ESPN, I hate to say ESPN and all the other sports channels, they have beaten this man and made him something that he's really not. He's a person that keep going back into the hood trying to help people. He could take his money and roll off into the sunset and be cool. But he's like, no, man, this ain't how I came up. Yeah. I came up with someone that got ahead and came back and helped me, so I'm gonna do it. But sometimes the hood don't want you. Stop loving people that don't love you.
Yeah, but then that would be my amen to that. You know what I mean? It would be, at some point, we have to quit looking at corporate America, and we have to quit looking at somebody else, and we have to start looking at Unc, Dad. Now, I had my grandma was 5'4", and I remember playing Pop Warner football, and my kids, if they ever watch this show, they will say, here we go again. Rush for 200, scored two in a playoff game. I mean, all-star game. My cousin Ricky Reynolds was on the team. Yeah. He ran a kickoff back, caught a screen pass for a touchdown, and I got co-MVP. And the only pass he threw for was TD to me. And all she said to me is, she said, boy, pick your lip up off the ground. It's time to eat. Right. I was like, Grandma, it ain't fair. She said, pick your lip up off the ground. It's time to eat. Right. And I said, Grandma, I did this. She said, you made it too close.
That's right.
Yeah.
You made it too close. She didn't say fair. She said, I'm a female African-American woman that works at the Army Depot. Not only do I have men that aren't African-American hating me, I have African-American men that despise me too because I'm a female, I'm in charge. So don't lose the fair.
Right.
The world owes you nothing. Fair is not fair.
Fair is fair.
Fair is not fair. So if you're looking for fair,
go to a fair.
Yeah.
Go to the circus or
circus, fair,
the carnival. Go to the carnival.
By the way, shout out to Cam Newton. What is it,
Cam,
Fourth and One podcast? I was trying to look it up right quick. I think that's what it's called.
Yeah, I'll tell you this, Cam, you got a lot of brothers following you, man, and you're doing all right.
But she said you made it too close. And I said, Grandma, what do you mean I made it too close? She said, I don't care if it's in school, it's in life, if it's on the field. You separate yourself so they can't be no co-MVP.
Right.
I love that, brother.
And I was 11 years old, and that's what I lived by. And, you know, at another episode of Life After Sports 23, you know, Shaun King, my guy, the King.
Man,
the King's in the building,
man.
Y'all having me,
man.
The King's in the building.
We jumped around a little bit today,
but that's what we do.
We'll do this again.
That's why we got good producers to chop it up and spice it.
Absolutely.
But, you know, we have a thing that we say here, man, it's called breaking chains and building dreams. And you are a perfect example of breaking chains and building dreams. And you made it to the NFL, and you became a Super Bowl winning quarterback. Man, God bless you, and continue breaking chains and building dreams, because there's some other guys that's coming up behind you that's going to need your help and your voice and your love.
Absolutely. And I want to say one more thing before we go, because if you can cut this into it. My message to young men of color who play the quarterback position who are coming into the National Football League. We got to where we're at a lot of times because of our self-confidence, borderline cockiness at times, to believe that no matter what anybody's saying, this is my dream and I can make it come to fruition. That is a gift and a curse when you get to the National Football League. The one thing you have to learn how to do when you get to that level is be a servant and accept whatever position you're in as far as when you're around your teammates, when you're in that building, because you're always interviewing for your next job. Somebody in upper management, whether it's the GM, assistant GM, director of college scouting, director of pro scouting, they're going to end up having their own deal. They're going to remember how you were when you got benched or how you were when you played a bad game. And those relationships are the ones that allow you to play like a Chase Daniel and be 12, 15 years in the league, even if you're not ever really an elite starting quarterback. And that's the one thing, looking back on my career, I wish I had done different, because I was full of piss and vinegar. And I was like, I know I'm better than Buddy, and they are trying me right now. They're really sizing me, and like it comes off in your everyday energy at work. And so that's my message to these young guys. Sometimes you can't control if you're the number 1 guy, the number 2 guy, the number 3 guy. Just remember you're interviewing. And at the end of the day, longevity is what you're looking for, because when this game over, it's over. Ain't no G League NFL running around. Every minor league football entity they start, it fails for some reason. So there's really no fallback. So when he say life after sports, like we really in that right now, trying to figure out how to reinvent yourself, how to still have something to wake up every morning and be motivated to go out and do, how to still give back. So that's the one thing I did want to make sure that I got out there to these young guys. Don't get frustrated. Justin, I know you're frustrated. Go to Pittsburgh, be the best human being you can be the greatest teammate ever. Make sure if something happens to Russ or if they make a change, you're ready to play. But don't allow that energy that got to exist, because you deserve to be a starter, to kind of enter into your day-to-day interactions with everybody.
I love that, brother.
Yeah, I love that too. You know what? Because I always tell everybody, like you said, the cocky, the arrogance, whatever it is, that help us get there and help us stay there. They're not gonna end the game because you're
Right.
gone.
Absolutely.
They're gonna put somebody else in that position. That's
right.
So no matter how bad or how good you think you are, the game ain't gonna stop. So that's the first thing you have to realize. And hey, once again, Shaun, I just want to say thank you, brother. I appreciate
Thank you for having me, man.
I appreciate you. Come back anytime.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Life
man.
after sports.
Life after sports.
Thank you, guys.